happy morning to all the participants of day 3 of the Faculty Development Program hosted by Archie Institute of Management and Entrepreneurial Development on transforming education the Google Classroom way. Today, your resource person will be teaching you how to apply the Google add-ons to your classroom. Wishing you a very happy learning. Over to our resource person.
Thank you, ma'am. Good morning, everyone. In the last 2-day sessions, we have seen how to work on Google Classroom and Google Forms. I hope everyone has practiced on that. If you have any queries or doubts, please post it on comment section. All your major queries will be answered on last 2 days of session. Please subscribe this channel for further updates and notifications. Today, we are going to check on Google add-ons. So generally, Google add-ons are a third-party customizations which will work on the top of Google applications. Most of the people will confuse with Google add-ons and Chrome extensions. Both are different. These Google add-ons are available on G Suite Marketplace, which is similar to Android Play Store. Installation of these Google add-ons is mandatory to work on this. So today we are going to see 5 add-ons which is available for Google Forms, Google Documents and Google Sheets. There are so many add-ons are available in G Suite Marketplace. So let me open G Suite Marketplace before we start with add-ons. So let me open Chrome. So in Google, if you type G Suite Marketplace, you'll get the link. Click on that link. So this is how G Suite Marketplace will looks like. In the left hand side, see you can see the categorization of Google add-ons. It will be categorized based on the business tools, productivity and education. Again, the subcategories under education are academic resources and teachers admins and for teachers and admin tools. Okay, if you see here in the main home page, there were so many add-ons are available. Okay, so each add-ons will work on top of different Google applications. Like we have add-ons for Google Documents, we have add-ons for Google Sheets, Google Slides, Forms, and for all the Google app, even Gmail, Google Meet. For every Google applications, we have add-ons. These are developed by third parties. And if in the left-hand side, if you see on the bottom, we have categorization based on the application for which the add-ons are available. You can see like with Google Drive also, if you click on this, works with Drive, the add-ons which will specifically works with Google Drive, those list and all available over here. You can go through it. Okay. And what are all the add-ons which will work with Gmail, and the list of add-ons which will work with documents and sheets, slides and forms. Okay, so this is how the Google Marketplace will looks like. This is somewhere similar to Android's Play Store. Okay, so now I'm signing in. So in today's sessions, we are going to see about 5 add-ons which will be helpful for teachers. So the first 2 is related to Google Forms. That means we can use these 2 form add-ons on top of Google Forms. So the first one is Form Limiter and the second one is Form Builder. So let's check how we can use this. So I'm going back to Chrome. and searching for Google Forms. As I logged in already, it is directly opening my Google's form homepage. So here, if you click on new form, in the left hand side, you'll be able to see there are 3 buttons. One is for customizations, and the another one is for preview, and another one is for settings. So if you have any installed add-ons, one more buttons will appear here for add-ons. Okay. As of now, we didn't install any add-ons. Okay. So to install add-ons, there are 2 ways. One is to install it from the application directly. So if you click on that menu icon on the right hand side top, if you scroll down at the bottom, you will find add-ons button. So if you click on that, it will open a pop-up which will have the add-ons which will work with Google Forms. So this is the one. And the another way is you can go to Google Marketplace and you can click on Works with Forms. So here also you'll be finding the list. So one is you can go and check and search for this add-ons directly. Otherwise, you can type the add-on name here and you can search. Here from G Suite, I'm trying to install Form Builder. Okay. So I'm typing Form Builder. So I got the add-on list. I'm selecting my add-on. Okay, and it will shows you the screenshots like how it will work. You can, if you want, you can go through this and you can install. Click on, if you click on install button, it will ask you like really you want that Google Builder needs your permission in order to start installing. If you click on continue, it will ask you for those permission, like for which account you wanted to use this add-on. So I've selected. So after this, it will ask for permissions. Like this form builder will access these many Google applications you really wanted to allow. So now click on allow button. So once this is done, the installation will happen. Okay. So now you are getting form builder has been installed. Done. So this is one way of installing directly from G Suite Marketplace. The another way is we'll install from here. So if you see form limiter is directly available here, so I'm not searching over here. I'm just clicking on the form limiter. Then it is asking me whether you wanted to install. I'm just clicking on install button and I'm giving continue. And it is asking for mail ID. I'm selecting my Gmail ID. After that, it is asking for permissions. Like this many applications, it needs access. I'm giving allow. So this is also getting installed. So generally this form limiter will be used to control the responses which you are getting for registration forms. Okay. Once this is done, so this is how your add-on will appear. Okay. So as I said, you can able to see the add-on image in the right hand side top. Okay. So if you click on this, whatever the add-ons we have installed, it will be listed over here. So we have installed already form builder and form limiter. So let's start with form limiter first. So as I said already, form limiter add-on will help you to limit your responses you are getting for your registration form. In yesterday's session, we have seen how we can share a registration form, how to create and how to share the registration form, right? I hope everyone was remember that. So to refresh it, I'll just create a new registration form to show this limitation form limiter add-on. Okay. So I'm going back. So I'll click on start a new form. So we'll name the form. Okay. If you wanted to name the form also, you can use it. This untitled form is the name. If you select this, whatever the title you have given, it will be auto-populated here. So if you click outside, the same name will be assigned to this untitled form. So now I'm going to create a form for an outbound training registration for students. Okay. So before adding any questions, I'm going to just add a video which is recorded during our last outbound training. So in that way, I wanted to show how to add videos to our forms. Okay. So if you see, there is a panel here over here. So this will contain so many buttons like add questions and import questions from the whole forms. And if you wanted to add any title or sub description, and to add an image and add a video and to add a section. So just click on add video button. If you add this, so you'll be getting two options. One is you can directly search from YouTube and add videos. Otherwise, you can enter the URL of the video and you can add it. Here I have searched I have already kept the URL ready. So I'm just searching for that. So here I have that video URL. I just copied from that and I will paste it in the pop-up. So I'm pasting here. So my video has been added, and if you click on select button, that will be inserted to your form. So just giving title over here for the video. Outbound training. So with this option, you can align the video, and if you wanted to change, you can change it. Or if you wanted to remove, you can remove it. So to do this, if you click on this option menu over here, you'll get the options for alignment, change and remove. So now we have added video to our form. The next one is enter your name to register. Okay. So it will just ask name and I'm setting that as a required. We have already seen how to use all the response types and the buttons over here. So I'm creating as a simple registration form over here. So after this, I'll click on preview. I'll just see what is I'm getting in that form preview. So this is okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to limit the responses. Okay, like how many people can register for this particular event. Okay, so just click on the add-on image, add-on button, and you're getting options as form builder and form limiter. Click on form limiter. So you'll getting a pop-up. There you have a set limit option. So select that set limit option. So you'll get a pop-up. Okay, here you have an option, drop down box, which will have an option to select to set the limitations. One is with date and time, like you can give particular date and time to close the registration. Okay, and the another one is the number of form responses, like you can limit the number of form responses to 50, 100, 500, or any number, or spreadsheet value. See, if you are saving the response values, like see, if you are going if you are organizing a family, uh, you are organizing an event for where a family will be invited, you would not know how many members are there in the family. Okay, so that you cannot calculate and you cannot limit, but that option can be used using this particular option, that spreadsheet cell value. That is, a particular cell value in that spreadsheet can be calculated, and based on that validation you can limit your responses. Let's say in a family there are 3 members, and finally you are having the limit for that particular registration is for 100 members. For one response itself you will be having 3 members, right? In that case you cannot limit the number of responses, but you have to limit the number of members which is associated to that particular responses. Okay, that can be achieved using spreadsheet cell value. So here, to give a simple demo, I'm selecting the number of form responses. Okay, so here, see, again in the number of form responses there is a trick. Okay, like if you wanted to enter, let's say if you wanted to limit only 50 number of registrations, so more than 50 count of responses you need, after 50 you don't need. Okay, then you need to give the response number as n minus 1. Let's say if you want to limit by 50, you have to enter as 49. Okay, otherwise you can say, like, if whatever the n number you have entered over here, that number plus 1 responses it will accept. So let me show you. I'll enter the number of responses as 2. Okay, so what will happen is it will accept up to 3 responses. After 3 responses it will block the registration. So here you can type the messages to the participants as well as to the organizers. Okay, once the number of responses is reached, the limit of the number of responses is reached, what the message you wanted to show the participant and as well as to the organizer. Here I'm going to type limit for the number of responses reached. So I've set everything over here and I'm clicking on save and enable. So till now I have created form and I have set the limitation for the number of responses. So now I'm going to send the form across. Sorry. So as usual, I'm entering the email addresses. See, in settings, I'm not limiting to one response. So from one email ID itself, I can get multiple response, right? So with that, I'm going to show you the demo for this particular form limiter. Now I have created a form as an organizer. Now I'm going to log in as a participant for this particular event. Let me open that participant login in using Edge. So if you see here, so I got the event registration form here. I'm clicking on that. So here I can able to see the video. I'm just entering the name and submitting. I'm checking in that organization's page. So I got the response as 1. I have set limitation for 3 responses, right? So I'm submitting the response again from here itself, from the participant email ID. So I got the second response too. Again, I'm move on to participant's email ID. I'm going to register for the third time. So now in organizer's form, we are getting message. What we have set over here, like limit for the number of responses has reached. Okay, and I'm able to see all 3 responses over here. Now from the participant side, I'm trying to register. Let's check. So if I try to register, I'm not getting that form, I'm getting the message. Limit for the number of responses reached. So it means the registration has been restricted based on the number of responses. So this is how the form limiter will work on. I hope everyone understand this. If you have any queries related to form limiter, please post on a comment section. That will be answered on last 2 days of session. Next, we are going to check on form builder. So to check this, click on blank form. You'll be getting blank form template. So whenever you're getting blank form template, try to add a title and name of the form. If you give title and if you click on the name of the form, it will be copied automatically. I'm just giving sample form builder quiz. So if you see, I have given title. If you want to give the same name, if you click on the untitled form, it will copy the title to the form name. If you want, you can do the changes. Otherwise, if you click outside, the same name will be appear for the form also. So most of the people will feel like working in document or spreadsheet is easier than working in the forms. So for those people, this form builder add-on will be a very helpful add-on. So as I said already, on your right hand side, there will be an add-ons button. If you click on that, you'll be getting form builder options that we have installed earlier. So click on that. If you click on that, there will be a pop-up. In that, you will find a start button. So click on that start button. You'll be getting this form builder pop-up. Okay. Using this form builder, you can import 4 types of files into forms. You can use existing Google Forms, you can use existing Google Sheets, Google Documents, and Google Slides. So in this demo, we are going to see how to convert a Google Sheet to form and how we are going to convert a Google document to form. So before that, whenever you are trying to use a form builder, make sure all your documents or sheets or forms that is available in Google Drive. So only the documents which are available in Google Drive, that only you can make use of it and you can convert into forms. So if you have seen, I'll open my Google Drive that will have the documents and sheets which is required for this form builder. Yeah, in menu, I'm clicking that Google Drive application. So I'm getting that Google Drive application homepage. In this, if you see, I have already created the sheet and as well as a Word document for the general quiz. I'll just open. See, this is the document. This is the simple document where you can find questions and answers. In case if you are working with sheets, the template will change slightly. I'll try to open the Excel which is I am having. Like questions and all in one columns and answer options are in different columns. And since it is a quiz model, I'm giving correct answers in one column and also points in another column. So this is the template we are going to use for the form builder. So this I have created already. If you wanted to create a new spread or a new document, you can in your Google Drive homepage in the left hand side, you'll get a new button. If you click on that, you'll be getting options to create new Google document and Google Sheets. So just move on to Google Documents and there is an option to create a blank document. So if you click blank document, you'll be getting a new blank document. So here you can copy your contents of quiz. Already I have the document, so I'm not creating one anymore. Just like that, if you wanted to create a new sheet, just click on the new button, go to Google Sheets and click on blank spreadsheet. So you can create a sheet like this. Okay, now let's see how we can generate forms using these documents. So let me create form using the Google Documents first. So I'll just click on the document. So whatever the documents which is available under the category of Google Docs, it will be available over here. So you can select the required document and click on select button. Once you selected the document, you'll be getting options to preview that and you can option to refresh it. Like when you're previewing, if you wanted to add more or if you wanted to delete something, you can do. See, if you have seen, I have added only 4 questions, right? But here in the ready to import sections, you'll be getting more than 4 questions. That means you're getting 16 questions as with options. That's wrong, right? So you have to format your document. So all the options should use bulletins. I'm changing the answer options to bulletins list. And I'll check. See, here we have done some changes. I'm just refreshing it. So once I refresh it, I'm getting only 4 questions along with option sets. Okay. Now my document is ready for importing. So one more section in advanced features, like if you wanted to override the contents of the existing form, you can enable the feature. Or if you wanted to continue with the whatever the contents and if you wanted to append whatever in the document along with the existing form, you can disable the feature. Now since I have created a blank quiz, I have an untitled question. I don't need this question in this form. So I'm going to enable this option. If I enable this, I won't get this get this question while I import the document. So everything is ready. I'm just clicking on import selected. See here, you can see we have four questions with 4 options here. That same way the form is created. So this is how we can use my Google document to import a form. So then next we'll see about Google Sheets. For that, again, I'll just create a sample form. I'm going to Google Forms homepage, clicking on blank form option. So again, I'm clicking on add-ons button and clicking on form builder. Start. Then I'll be getting form builder pop-up. So this time I'm selecting Google Sheets. In Google Sheets also, it will display you whatever the sheets available within your Google Drive. You can select the required one and give select. If you're using Google Sheets, it will be little different. Once you imported the form, you need to choose the tab. See, this tab is meant for sheets. You can have n number of sheets within this Google Sheet. Okay, sheet 1, sheet 2, sheet 3, like that you can have. So among that, which sheet you wanted to import, that you have to select over here. Since I have only one sheet, I got only one option here. So I'm selecting sheet 1 directly. We have to set the pattern. Again, in the Excel, I have as a quiz format. So in these 3 options, I'm selecting as quiz. If I'm selecting as quiz, I'll be getting options to set. Enter the range here. Whatever the options, whatever the information you have in these cells, that range you have to give. In our case, it will be A1 to G3. So you can give, instead of A1 to G1, G3. Okay. So after that, you can check the range includes header. That means whether that include header in, whether you wanted to include the header also in your spreadsheet or not. I've just included. I'll show you how it will display, and there we can uncheck. So questions at columns. That means it is asking you have set it questions in which column. We have set it questions in A. So we can select A here. And you know, right, in every forms, when you set for questions, you'll be having description and required options. So are those details available in this spread? So if it is available, you can give the column name. But in my sheet, those options were not selected. So I'm not giving any options over here. If you have, you can select. Then it is asking answer starts at column. Okay. So in our case, it is starting at B and it is ending at E. So I'm giving this information over here. Starts at B and ends at E. And your correct answer is at F and points it as is at G. So your correct answer column is F and points at G. So we have customized. No. So we have set all those things. Now Click on Get button. So now you can check here. In the ready to import section, you have got the 2 questions which is available in your sheets, like the world game gambit and which of the following is the question starting, and you can see, and the options also there. If you select import selected, those will be added to your form. You can see the questions, and you can see how many points we have set it over there, and answer key also. This is how you can convert a spread into a Google form. So let's check how we can add an existing Google form and we can import to create a new form. Okay. So to do that, again, I'll create before that I'll save this form and I'll try to import one question from this form itself. I'm just giving the title like import from the sheet. I'm just clicking on here. The same will be copied over as name. So now I'll go back and again I'll try to create a new form. So to open form builder, go to add-ons button on the right hand side and click on form builder. Click on start. So here you can select Google Forms. This will give the list of forms that you have worked earlier. So this is the one we have created with the help of document, and this is the one we have created with sheet. So I'm selecting the form which we have created with the help of sheet. So the untitled was the blank question in my previous sheet. I'm just unchecking it. So it's your option to select the entire list or you wanted to add one, whatever you want. Okay. I'm going to add only these 2 questions to this form. And again, here I'm using override. See, when you see in the last option, like when we try to create a form using Google Sheet, I didn't check this option. And that's why I got this untitled appended to this form. So this time I don't want, I'm just unchecking it. I mean, I'm enabling this feature. And after that, I'm clicking on import selected. Then the untitled will go off and I'll get only the 2 questions, whatever I have imported using the sheets. Okay. So I think we have clearly seen how we can use the add-ons which is given for Google Forms. Like we have to seen only 2 sample add-ons for available for Google Forms. One is to limit the number of responses you're getting for your registration, and the another one is a form builder which will helps you to create your forms using your Google applications. Next, we are going to see about these 3 add-ons. The first one is Translate My Sheet, which will be very helpful in translating in the contents of sheets into different languages. And the next we are going to see EasyBib. This is an add-on on Google document, which will be very helpful to add the bibliography at the end of the document. And then the final and last add-on we are going to see in this session was MathType, which will again work on top of Google document. This will be very very helpful to handle the mathematical calculations and formulas. So to start with, translate my sheet. I'll open Google Chrome. I already signed in with my email ID. So I'm directly opening the sheet. So I'm opening the already available sheets within my drive. And as I informed earlier, add-ons can be added within the application itself. Like we have seen the ways to add the add-ons. Using G Suite Marketplace also we can add, or we can add from the application directly. Here in Sheets, if you wanted to add add-ons, there is a menu option named add-ons is available. If you click that, there was an option to get add-ons. If you click on that option, you'll be getting a pop-out where you'll get the list of add-ons which will be available with Sheets. So here, so many options available. Among this, we are going to try with Translate My Sheet add-on. So I'm going to search with the name. So it is available. I'm going to install this add-on. Click on that. You'll be getting install button. Click on the install button and then continue button to give the permission. And then you'll be asked to select the Google account you wanted to associate it with it. I've selected my Google account, and then it will ask for again permissions over the apps it is going to work on. So I'm going to give allow. So once it is done, you'll get an intimation that app was installed. So this translation app will have the list of different languages which will be really helpful. So our add-on got installed. If you click again the add-ons menu, you'll be getting this particular add-on, Translate My Sheet. So if you click on this, again you'll be getting three options like start new translation, or if you wanted to go on troubleshooting, or about you wanted to know about the application or help. So for our demo, we'll use start a new translation. Just click on that option. So as usual, whenever you try to use an add-on, you'll be getting a pop-up on the right-hand side. So in that same way, you are getting that pop-up. So in this pop-up, you are asked to select the source. So in this, source language will be autodidact by default. If you want, you can choose the language. So you can see what are all the languages available here. Even more, you can find more Indian languages like Hindi, Tamil, Telugu, and all. So you can see Telugu, Tamil, Hindi, and all for as concerned of Indian languages. So auto-detect means it will automatically find the source languages. So again, the next option is which values you would like to translate. You wanted to translate the entire sheet or a selected range. Okay, and then the next question is override original cells or work on duplicate cells in a new sheet. Like whenever you work on sheets, there will be separate tabs will be called created. Like sheet 1 will be available by default. If you wanted to add one more sheet, you can click here and add a new sheet. Okay, so here it is asked you wanted to replace your translation within this sheet itself, or you wanted to create a new one. So I'm getting by default, the duplicate sheet option will be selected. You have to make sure whatever the cells you have selected here, that will be translated. Okay. So it's just a name. There is nothing to translate in this name. So I'm just selecting the heading. I'm selecting the heading, this particular cell, and I wanted to translate this particular value. Okay, source language I defaultly select as auto detect, and I want to select the target language as Hindi. So now you can give translate. So once this translation is done, you'll be getting a confirmation pop-up. The range of one cells found. Are you sure you want to start the job translation? That means the selected, you have selected the cell, right, which is in the blue color highlight part. You wanted to translate that one or not. If you wanted to translate that cell alone, you can give yes. Otherwise, if you wanted to change the selection, you can give no and select the desired cell. So I wanted to continue with my selection, so I'm giving yes. So once yes is done, as I said, a new tab is created, like new sheet is created with sheet 1 as Hindi, and you can see in the name, it is displayed in Hindi. And I'll do one more translation for a different language. Like this time I'll use to translate in Tamil. Okay, again I have selected the same name and I'm selecting the target language, and in the values I have selected, I have given only the selected range, and this time I'll give as override cells. Then it will replace it on the existing cell. It will not create a new sheet. So then here we have a checkbox, like if you wanted to highlight the translated cells, like if you see here, the translated cell, it is having a background of green color, right? If you don't want, you can uncheck it and you can give on translate. So you'll be getting a pop-up for confirmation. So I'm giving yes. Once I have given, you can see it is translated to Tamil. So this is how the translate my sheet will work. This looks very easy and it will be very useful tool. So that's why I wanted to share with you. So next we'll see the add-ons which is related to Google document. So to check with it, I'll open Google document application. So if you click on menu, Google Apps menu, you'll find Google document application, docs. If you click on docs, all your Google documents and templates will be displayed over here. So I'm just creating a new application. That means a new doc. As I said, if you wanted to change the name of the document, you can check on that left corner. There will be an untitled document. So there you can change the document name. I'm just giving us ECBib demo because now we are going to see the demo of ECBib application. It is a common practice to add reference to our projects, assignments, theses, and journals, and also for articles. Today, most of the references for these contents will be available online, but these references are missed out most of the times. But using this ECBib add-on, We can make this practice more easier, and this will be more helpful for students as well as teachers, and also for research scholars. So now we'll try to install that ECBIB add-on. So I'm selecting for I have typed ECBIB in search button. So now the only add-on is available over here. Just clicking on that, and I'll try to install it. Click on the install button, then click on the continue on the pop-up to give the permission, and then select the account you wanted to add, and then give the permissions required by the add-on. I'm clicking on allow button to give the required permissions. After this add-on will get installed on top of your Google document. It's done. So I'm going back to the home page of Google Documents. If you click on this doc home button, it will get you to the Google home page, Google Documents home page. So here I'm just selecting any available document. Like, let's say I'm going to open this particular one where I can add the references. See, this is something related to that working capital management, and I was getting some references in the for this particular topic online. So I wanted to add the reference for those topics. So to enable that ECBIB, you just go to add-ons menu again. That add-ons menu, like in the last topic, we have seen that this add-ons menu in the Excel sheet. In that same way, it is available in Google Documents also. So if you click on that, you'll be getting the add-on which was installed in that particular application. So if you click on ECBIB Bibliography Creator, you'll be getting two options. So one is to manage the bibliography, and second one is to get help. So I'm clicking on Manage Bibliography. So as usual, you'll be getting a pop-up on right hand side. So it will give you option to add either a book or a journal article or a website. So in these options, you can select any one, or you can select all three options also. So to search in website, I'm just giving the topic, capital marketing, so that I can get the reference from the web. So once you enter the topic name, you can, if you click on search, it will find the references for this particular topic and it will list you. In the search result list, you can select the desired topic and you can add as a bibliography to your document. As this is easier, it will be added easily by everyone. As I have given a general topic, it is taking time, I think so. So I'm just entering as the entire title. So I'm clicking on that. It's still loading, so we have to wait for some time. So even if it is a book, you can enter the title of the book and you can search. In the same way, you can use for journal articles also. And in that style, there were so many options available to add the bibliography. Okay, you can choose any one. and your search list will be displayed below the style. So here by default it will be 8th edition, and I'm going to select now the Chicago. So the list will be available here, but it is taking much time. So once the list is available, you can select any one from the list, and you can, if you click on the add bibliography to the document, that section will be added at the end of the document. Here I have only one page, but anyways, if you have more pages also, it will be added at the end. So let it search. We'll go for that next add-on till time. Once it is loaded, I'll show you again. So the next one is math type. It has always been difficult to handle the mathematical formulas and equations in our documents. So in that case, math type will be a very helpful add-on to achieve those formulas. I'll show you how we can use those math type. It is the interesting add-on. I'll show you how it is so interesting. So I have opened the Google Documents again. I'll click on blank document. Now I'll try to add the add-on first. To add it, again click on that menu on add-ons, like get add-ons, like how we have added EasyBib in that same way. But math type is available on the top, so I'm directly selecting. This application you can install from G Suite Marketplace also. But as it is particular to these documents, it is directly available over here also. So I'm installing from here. Select the Google account and give the required permissions. Once it is installed, you'll be getting a confirmation saying that this add-on has been installed to our Google app. So it is done. We can close this. And now move on to that add-ons menu again. So here you'll be able to see the math type. Okay, here you have two options to insert or edit math equation or insert or edit a formula. Okay, so I'm just giving I'll just show you how to add a mathematical equation. Like if you click on that, a pop-up will be open. Normally for all other add-ons, you'll be getting pop-up on the right hand side, but this will be a different one. So if you see the tabs itself, you'll be having all the symbols and contents which is related to mathematics. Like the first one is which is related mainly to the roots. That was the really difficult symbol to add on our documents, but with the help of this add-on, it will be much easier to add those. And that second one is for to add that pi and infinity symbols also, that's available over here. And the third one will be for that equations and all. So like this, if we see, there will be all the symbols which is related to statistics, matrix, and exponential calculus symbols and all. So all that summary in those symbols and all, integral calculus or differential calculus, those symbols and all available here, if you see. So I didn't know much of that. I just practiced to do only one equation, quadratic equation. So let me explain that. And we have two options. One is to select from that symbol, and another one is free writing, like freestyle. We'll call this particular option as a freestyle. Sorry, I have closed. I'll open it again. Math type and insert the math equation. So let me first show you how we can use the symbols. Okay, so we have a formula in quadratic equation which is like this one. like x equal to minus b plus or minus root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So let's check how we can write this equation very easily using the math type. So first it is x equal to, we have a divided by symbol. First we'll insert that one, and on the top we have minus b. So I'm entering that directly. I'm selecting minus symbol and entering b. Then we are using plus or minus. So I'm using that. Then we'll come to root, square root. So inside that we have b square minus 4ac. So I'm entering b, and to enter the square you can use this superscript symbol. If you click on that, you'll be getting a superscript option over here, and there you can enter 2. Then it will be a b square, right? So to come out of the superscript, you can place a cursor after the 2 and you can click on that. You'll be easily come out from that superscript symbol. And then minus is, see, if you just come out, you should be very careful when you come out of superscript symbol. If you just missed, it will be really come out of that square root, because we have to keep the entire b square minus 4ac into that square root. Okay, so I'm just deleting and I'll try again. I'm entering square root, it's b square, and I'm placing the cursor very close to the 2 and just click on that. Yeah, it came out. Now I'll enter minus 4ac. Okay, so in the bottom you have to add 2a. So let's see how easily we have written this equation. So this is how we can use these symbols. And the second option is to, so I'm deleting this and I'll show you the second option, how we can write. It is a freestyle. So here you can directly write, and whatever you have written here, that will be converted as an equation. So if you see here, I'll just write x equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So it will show you here whether you have written was right or not. But it came as 2 double a. So I'll just write again. To clear this, you can click on just delete. It will go off. You can write it again. X equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b square minus 4ac divided by 2a. So now it came out well. So I'm just inserting it. So it came out in our document. It will be really helpful for math teachers and as well as students. So you can explore all the other symbols also, but for an example, I have taken this particular quadratic symbol. So till now we have seen translate my sheet and EasyBib and math type. So I hope this will be very useful for you, and everyone was able to follow easily. It will be easier if you practice these daily sessions so that you can post your queries or doubts in the comment section, which will be discussed in the last 2 days of sessions. Please subscribe to this channel to get the latest updates and notifications. Tomorrow, we'll discuss about certified AM. Thank you all. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Mrs. Sivaranjani. Participants, I'm very confident that you have learned how to apply the add-ons in Google Classroom. Any queries, kindly post them to the chat box. They will be collated and you will be answered on the last 2 days of our faculty development program. A gentle reminder, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel so that you get further notifications and updates. Tomorrow, Mrs. Sivaranjani will be teaching you how to apply Certify EM in a Google Classroom. Thank you.